very good evening. It's just after 8 o'clock here in the Centennial Hall in Wrocław in Poland as we get ready now for the men's 56 kilo championship of the world. Alongside myself, David Goldstrom, Michaela Breeze, and a competition, Michaela, as we see them in the warm-up room, which promises a great deal with two Olympic champions in the lineup.
Absolutely, this is going to be a very tight competition. There's two Olympic champions, the champion from Beijing and also from London, so it really is hotting up to what's going to be a very special competition.
The 56 kilo championship of the world, bringing together lifters from the People's Republic of Korea, Bulgaria, Colombia, Kazakhstan, Italy, Cuba, Vietnam and China. And this is the list of the starting weights, and we'll meet the lifters in a moment individually to introduce them to you. At the top of the list, the champion from London. At the bottom of the list, the champion from Beijing.
Make up your mind, sweet baby. Right here, right now is all we got. A little
Well, sit back and enjoy the action here. We should have a terrific competition in prospect with two Olympic champions, world champions, medalists from the Pan American Games. But first of all, let's have a look at the men who set the headlines earlier in the day in the B group. And this is the man who set the pace in the B group. In the snatch division, this is José Braqui Garcia from Spain. And he was the most successful in the snatch division, 113 kilos. He was pretty good also in the clean and jerk. But the man who really excelled in the clean and jerk was the man from Ecuador, Enrique Rocafuerte Buener. 3 attempts, and this, the third of them, 136 kilos.
10 sekund odliczamy.
This is the best clean and jerk lift by the Ecuadorian.
Jesteśmy przygotowani do rozpoczęcia walki w kategorii 56 kg. No cóż.
However, despite this really good sequence, at the end of it all, he totaled up 242. But José Braqui Garcia, who was best in the snatch division, his advantage over the Ecuadorian meant that at the end of the B group earlier today, 246 is his total, and that is the total that is effectively the lead in the clubhouse. So the men's 56 kilo competition championship of the world here in Wrocław about to get underway now with the youngest man in the class here, Mirko Scaratino, I should say, of Italy, on the board, 107 kilos for his first attempt. Scaratino, runner-up in the Mediterranean Games earlier in the year. And as you would hope and almost expect, a really good start, Michaela.
Yeah, superb opening attempt, came out very confident. You can tell by the body language he's in this now to try and lift some big weights. Just lifted his backside up as the bar came off the floor. That would have sent him onto his toes, but managed to correct it.
Michaela Breeze alongside myself, David Goldstrom, for the first of these men's gold medal competitions here. And the auditorium, well, not full, but it's a huge hall here, the Centennial Hall. But when we get the heavier weight classes and the Polish boys come into their own, I'm sure this place is going to be close to riotous.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing this place full to the rafters. It really is a fantastic hall.
That said, in the house today we have a Ukrainian group who've been dancing their way towards tonight's competition for the past hour, and also a really strong group of supporters from the People's Republic of Korea, now just up to 108 kilos for Scaratino, And just looking at the weights that have been posted here, the London Olympic champion, Om Yun Choi, 125 for his opener. The Beijing Olympic champion, Wong Pung-Quin, 126. And the bar to 110 kilos now for the appearance of Ali Chonte for Kazakhstan.
Ali Chonte, Kazakhstan. First attempt, pierwszy łatwo, 110. Mirko Scarantino is next lifter. He's prepared.
So Mirko is getting ready. He may well be the next lifter out. He's on his feet already.
Yeah, because the clock is counting down, and clearly it's not going to be Chonte, it's going to be Scarantino. So Scarantino bar up to 111 kilos. So 4 kilo increase. He's got the best part of a minute, so plenty of time. Probably the brightest talent that we've seen in the last years emerging from Italian weightlifting, this young man.
Yeah, Jenny Pagliaro was one of the best female lifters. Unfortunately, she hasn't been here at these World Championships, but it's great to see Italy really producing some contenders on the world stage. Well, better than the first attempt. Oozing confidence.
Yeah, a little fire in the belly, which we like to see, and a good start by him. Now, just to put that into context, 111 kilos, that is a new personal best. So
that's great. If you're going to do a personal best, it has to be on the world stage. This is the biggest platform for these lifters to be competing on.
Other than, of course, the Olympic Games. But that's what he's building to. He's building to his challenge for Rio. Did complete in London. Ended up in 14th place, but to be fair, that was all part of his education.
He's still very young. He's got a long way to go in terms of a lifting career. The journey is full of experiences. Marco Scarantino that's called next to the platform on 112. We can see other lifters getting ready and preparing.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be Scarantino. Bar up to 113 kilos for the appearance of Asan Muradov of Bulgaria. Now, that's the opening kilos that he posted, so from that we can assume that warm-up has gone pretty well. Runner-up in European competition this season at the European Championships in Albania, where he set new personal bests right across the board, 118, 140, 258. Bulgaria very much in a state of rebuilding its federation and its lifting scene after some scandalous and then rather difficult years.
Very, very soft into the receiving position. Caught that very high and then sat into the deep squat position. Not the way to go. These kind of weights, you've got to be much, much more dynamic underneath the bar.
Scarantino's put the bar up to 113, but of course that would be his third attempt, so Muradov is going to have to come out again.
That's right, first attempt before second, second attempt before third.
Has 2 minutes, has a minute 40 at the moment. Not getting the first lift is really problematic because it knocks your confidence, it sets you back, and yet at the same time, Michaela, as you know, you have to, in a sense, wipe that failure out of your mind, get positive, think through the technique, get out there and execute.
It's very hard. These lifters would have spent years, months, years training for this event, and they'd have visualised this so many times, and I tell you now, missing your first attempt never comes into that visualisation process, so it's tough now to put that out of your mind. Only 2 attempts remaining in the snatch. He needs to secure 1 to stay in the competition. difficulty with weightlifting is when you only have 3 attempts, you want to obviously try and get close to your best or beyond. So you need to start reasonably heavy. That's why often you see lifters that do miss their first lift.
So a dent in his ambition already, but now not all is lost if he makes this. But he really does need to pick up these 113 kilos to stay in the game. Posted a total of 263 compared to the 285 of the Beijing Olympic champion. Better.
Much better overhead. Still a little soft in the bottom position, but bar was overhead, no swinging that time.
Yeah, he'll be kicking himself now, missing that first one.
Yeah, wasted attempt.
So, because he'd have been looking to get to 118, he's now faced with a 5 kilo increase for the 3rd attempt. Would have liked to have done it in 2 more comfortable steps. So Scarantino for 3 out of 3, 113. And again, this would be a new personal best by 5 kilos. But more importantly, keeping the 100% run going.
Great fight at the bottom to save that bar from going overhead. And see what that means to him.
It's really good to see a Western European country being represented by a young talent with fire and purpose and just great determination, not going to give up, corrects, as you said, Michaela, and wins the lift.
Yeah, he's in form.
But let me put that in perspective. He's still in 2nd place because Josu Baraki Garcia from the B group today lifted 113 and he was lighter on body weight. So the Italian in 2nd place in the snatch rankings, early days though. And now Carlos Berna for Colombia, 8th in the Olympic Games in London, where he produced his personal best of 118, so this is just 3 kilos short of that mark. Junior world champion some 3 years ago. Good start. When you look at the ages of the competitors here, Michaela, they're all, bar one, early 20s, one in the teens, the oldest 29. It's pretty a young man's game these days, isn't it?
Yeah, the older you are, the stronger you're supposed to get. It takes time to develop the strength and the power. But as we can see here, these guys have been lifting from quite a young age. It's important to expose youngsters to this kind of sport.
In the blue there, Alexei Neev, the head coach for Kazakhstan. And this is where the different entries are put in, and this is where the chess game starts to unfold. This is where a coach needs 5 pairs of eyes to keep his eye on his main opponents. It might sound silly, but it's so easy to get caught out.
Oh, it is. You really do need 2 coaches in the warm-up room, one to keep an eye on the scoreboard, one to keep an eye on what the lifter's doing. So the coach that will be in charge of the scoreboard and watching out for any changes, he's responsible to make sure that the athlete or the other coach is notified if there are any sudden changes.
Now, Muradov, well, you can see there, 113, he's gone for 116. In truth, had he not failed, he would have been looking to equal his personal best at least on 118, but badly needs this.
And again, same as the first attempt, just caught it too high, sank in.
And that, I'm afraid, is going to be very costly.
Yeah, he looks like he's limping as well. Maybe he's catching it high to save the knee.
Kazachstan. First attempt, pierwsze podejście. Lazara Michael Luis Laszlo Miła Wisbiber. Przygotowuje się.
So Ali Chonte for Kazakhstan, fourth in the Asian Championships, 1:15, 1:30 for a total of 2:45. The winner of the Asian Championships this year total 2:64, so that puts it a little bit in perspective.
See the hook grip allows a lifter to hit the bar without worrying about losing the grip. Wow, that was quick. Great levers for this sport, long back, short arms and legs.
55-41, he is the lightest of the class. The heaviest of the class, Luis Lazaro, who is also the oldest man in the competition in Cuba, at 55-99. So here is the senior citizen, so to speak, coming out to open up on 117 kilos. Bronze medalist from this year's Pan Ams, where he produced 180 kilos. He's been effective at 62 kilos as well. Go back 3 years and he was the Pan American 62 kilo champion.
Problem with coming down this amount of body weight is your weights are obviously going to come down as well. Lose body mass, lose strength. That was a strong, solid first attempt. Just had to adjust slightly, steady himself at the bottom. Saying to the coach, I'm in control, it's okay.
But this is what we want, Michaela, a good, strong run of solid, good lifts. Sometimes when this happens, it sort of creates a very positive spirit in the whole of the warm-up room. Conversely, a lot of failed lifts can do damage in a different way. So Berner, 118, 3 kilo increase, currently in third place. The leader Ali Chonte with that lift of 117 kilos. So this for the lead.
Throwing the shoulders back quite a long way at the top of the lift there. Manages to get underneath it though.
Still 4 men in the wings, yet to start. The London Olympic champion Om, the Beijing Olympic champion Long, and the 2 Vietnamese boys Tran and Thach Tim Tuan. So this will be really fascinating climax to this particular part of the competition because it's very heavily contested. 4 men yet to start, separated by 6 kilos. And the bar to 120 kilos now for the first of the 2 Vietnamese lifters. This is going to be Tran.
It's been a change.
Tran just putting it up to 122 from 120, so obviously he's feeling pretty good.
Been another change. Bit of cat and mouse going on at the back, I think. Again, the rules have changed in recent years, so instead of having 2 minutes when you're following yourself, if another lifter is called and then it comes back to you, I'm afraid it's only 1 minute.
Not that not that anybody would ever use that tactically.
It's a bit of a shame if you're the lifter following yourself and you don't get the full 2 minutes.
But it can be played, particularly down in the final stages of a competition.
It can be. I mean, what we see here is lifters trying to lift as much as they can. What we don't see, and what you don't see at home, is all the tactics that go on behind the scenes with the coaches and the mind games.
So, Carlos Berna, Colombia. This for 3 out of 3. And the lead. And a new personal best.
He caught that lovely at the bottom. Not much more room there for many more kilos, but that's what you want, a world champion, world championships to come out and be executing 3 out of 3 at your limit. Great stuff. So
goes into position number 1, position number 2 at the moment. Ali Chonte, and he's got 2 attempts left. Position number 3. This is Ruiz Gasso, and he's got 2 attempts left, and still 4 men to announce themselves on the stage. And here's one of them, Tran Le Quoc, Tuan from Vietnam. He's 24, he's the older of the 2 Vietnamese lifters, bronze medalist in the Asian Championships this year, and 125 in the Olympics. He was 4th in the Olympic Games. He missed the bronze medal by just 2 kilos to Valentin Hristov of Kazakhstan in London. Hristov having now moved up for these World Championships to 62 kilos.
Tran Le Quoc has come down in body weight here. He's cutting it very fine. You can see just how lean he is. Let's just hope that the body weight loss doesn't affect him too much. First
remember,
it's going to be a shame.
Remember, he put it up from 120 to 122. So
well, that would indicate the warm-up has been going fairly well. Always a shame to miss your first attempt. You can really see which of these lifters have had to cut body weight, and looking at him, he looks to be one of them.
Tran, who weighed in at 55.92, which proves your point. So Luis Lazaro Gasso. 5 kilo increase, not insignificant. So once again, this would be for the lead. This is the heaviest man in the class at 55.99, just inside the limit.
Very long extension. 2 out of 2. You can't be disappointed with that. Again, just signalling to the coaches, I'm in control. Just leave me to it.
Well, clearly feeling pretty happy with that, because takes the lead, and all the time at this particular weight category setting new marks. Now Tran to come out for his 2nd attempt. If you want to be there or thereabouts for the medals, you can be perhaps forgiven once, but not twice.
No, this is a pressurised lift. You do well to get it this time. Failure this time would put him under real pressure. Much better. Just taking a step forwards at the end there. That's okay, so long as you finish with your feet in line. Bar must be steady overhead before the referees will give you the down signal.
Tran, who was 3rd in this year's Asian Championships, but some 11 kilos behind of the People's Republic of Korea, the Olympic champion.
Second attempt, drugie podejście. Wtorой подход, 123. Jan Leuton, Vietnam, is prepared. Przygotowuje się.
Chonte for Kazakhstan. Now, this is a 6 kilo increase.
Lazaro Michael Luis Gasso.
115 kilos in the Asian Championships. That was in September. Here we are in October, and this is 8 kilos up.
It's a big increase. Not just 8 kilos up, this is now a 6 kilo increase from his first attempt as well. Remember, these guys are only weighing 56 kilos body weight. Couldn't quite hold it.
And were he to miss the third attempt, they might be reflecting on the steps they might have taken.
Yeah, he really does need to secure that on his third to stay in with a chance here.
If not the gold, but at least a chance of bronze, given that the two Olympic champions are certainly the pre-competition favourites. Alexei Neve living the moment. Nobody else wants 123, so he's got to follow himself. Next man in should be the London Olympic champion. There you have the state of play. And there are the three men at the bottom there who've yet to start their challenge. Interesting there that Long, 55.44, the second lightest. Who knows, Michaela, that may come into play.
Body weight's a lot less significant now than it used to be when it was a 2.5 kilo increase between weights. Now when it's just 1 kilo, it makes it a lot easier to catch up the deficit. For those that are not sure about that, if two lifters lift the same weight, the lighter person wins.
So, would you put your £5 note on this man to get the third attempt?
I would say it's a 50-50 chance here. He's a gutsy lifter, definitely got the strength. The bar was clearly overhead on the last one. I think he's going to get it, yeah. Well, he had it until it went behind.
He had it until he lost it.
It was an easy miss.
But of course, those two failures means that he is left with just 117 kilos. So you can see that by that, he's going to be more than 10 kilos off the pace, and that makes life very difficult indeed.
It's too much to make up at this level of competition. I think he's now going to be trying to keep his composure, see how far he can go on the clean and jerk, maybe aim for a personal record.
So, the London Olympic champion, and just to my left, the contingent from the People's Republic of Korea, flags flying up there to support their man. Yun Chol, Olympic champion and this year's Asian champion. Oh.
Wow.
124. This was the man, if you remember, Michaela, who made tremendous progress. Paris, November 2011, in the World Championships, only 6th. Total 267. Came to London in July. Total 293.
Oh, superb. Just the speed that he's demonstrating there.
But that just shows you, you know, he was 19 in Paris, he was 20 in London.
Oh, the rate of improvement was rapid.
Yeah. But he's on the board.
Just see here the technical table in the back. It's where the lifters or the coaches make all the changes to the weights. Each lifter is allowed 2 changes of weight.
So Tran, 125.
Third and final attempt. 125 to put them in with a real chance of contending for a medal in the snatch. 30 seconds. Oh, a little short on the extension. Managed to get deep underneath it to stabilise himself.
And goes into the lead. So still to start, the younger of the Vietnamese challengers and the Beijing champion. And it's going to be Thach Kim Ton to come out now for 126 kilos for his first attempt. Now, he was runner-up in the Asian Championships this year to Yun Chol, the Olympic champion, and there were 5 kilos between them, but in the snatch phase, Thach did 125, did 126, so at this stage of the competition they still could be very close, these two.
So you just see the difference in terms of stature. Thach here is much taller, much rangier than his contenders. Look at that. In that squat position, just had to sit back with his shoulders to get the centre of gravity back under the bar.
Very easy, but he's done it. He's got and puts him into the lead, 126, and it should be long for China to come out and go for 126. Yun Chol at the moment has posted 127. There's one other man in play with a lift left, and that's Ruiz Gasso, who's put the bar to 126 for his third attempt. That's why he's not on at the moment, because we got the first attempt of long.
Well, there we go. That's the way to do it, no messing. What I love about these guys is how straight they are underneath the bar, sitting perfectly upright.
He really does have a fantastic CV in this sport. Olympic champion in Beijing, world champion in Goyang in 2009. Won the SEA Games in that year as well. Was runner-up in the Worlds in Antalya. Now, 126 here for Ruiz Gasso. Now, this will only put him into third place in the snatch because he is the heaviest in the class. If he gets this, he sort of looks booked for fourth. Not the place you want to finish.
No, but I don't think they'll be worrying too much about where the medals are at the moment. This will be a case of trying to get every single kilo that he possibly can, with a view to extending that in the clean and jerk. Well, that one was nowhere near, never really committed. Jumped back from the bar, always in front. Disappointing.
Yeah, and as a result of that, he could find himself 8 kilos or possibly more off the lead, depending on how the remaining lifts come. We have 6 lifts to go now in this competition. 2 for 2 for Thach, 2 for long. So here comes the London Olympic champion, and Makeda, as you rightly spotted a few moments ago, or remembered, of course he won it from the B group.
Yeah, I remember being there in London watching him come out, and you know, the B group in London, the atmosphere was nowhere near as good as the A group, and the weights he lifted were just phenomenal. And I remember watching the A group. Wow, look at that. watching the A group, and do you know what? I don't think the lifters in the A group at the Olympic Games really appreciated and respected the lifts or the weights that he nailed. And with such a young lifter coming through and improving so rapidly, he really put himself in contention. And as you said, he was Olympic champion from the B group.
So 127. And the bar is going to 130, I'm sure. And it'll be for either Thach or Long. Now this will be interesting backstage to see what's going on here now, because this is where the coaches are going to be. Right, Thach on 130. Currently in the bronze medal position. The medals are going to go to Vietnam, China and the People's Republic of Korea. The only thing we don't know is who's going to get what.
Drugie podejście wykonał reprezentant Wietnamu. Hakim Toi, Wietnam. Second attempt. Zwracam uwagę, że to jest junior, ale pod świata tuż.
More than 50 seconds, so no concern in that regard for Thach. Junior 8 last season. And if you remember the first Youth Olympic Games in 2010 in Singapore, and he was the winner of that competition. This for the lead.
He's not going to get that. Right arm bent then. He knows how close he was as well. Coach is saying, don't sit there and wait for it, stand straight up.
Reprezentant Chin, Long Ching-chan, China, second attempt, drugie podejście.
Now, Long was going to come in for 130, but is he really going to come in? Yes, he is. Long Ching-chan, and coming in for his second attempt at 130, and of course this would put him in the lead. Very important to think of body weights here. 55.44, People's Republic of Korea 55.87, and Thach 55.84. So Long has the advantages, particularly if he lifts this.
And he has. There's the advantage on the snatch, whether he's got the legs for the clean and jerk to compete with This is going to be a very interesting competition.
Now, he contributed 130 kilos in winning the national games in the first half of the competition. Went on for a total of 296. It's a pretty fantastic competition in the national games with this man. The first 5 lifters separated by just 5 kilos.
It's outrageous. It really is. To compete or to win the Chinese games is just a phenomenal achievement. The standard has to be so much higher than the Olympic Games itself. Just shows what depth and caliber China have.
So on 130. Now remember, this is his third attempt, and he is heavier than Long, so he can only go into second place, but that won't be on his mind. It'll be keeping pace. Now I wonder how expensive that might be.
Well, that was a gutsy effort. I believe his last attempt was a personal best, so this would have been a real step forwards. That's a real shame. Kind of levels the competition out going into the clean and jerk, though. If you see the weights, I mean, we're looking here at the world record holder on the clean and jerk, so he's going to be the one to chase down.
So now Thach going for 131, just that extra kilo. Remember, he failed at 130, but this is to go for the lead, and who knows, possibly a gold medal. He's going to force Long to at least go to 131, although Long's already posted 132 as his next lift. So Thach.
And he did try and do what the coach said. He tried to stand straight away, but that was on his toes. What a shame, he's left down on 126. Still in bronze medal position on the snatch. 1 kilo behind Om. And at least 4 kilos behind Long. Long still has one attempt remaining, so going to be the final snatch in the men's 56 kilo category.
Remember the world record in the snatch? Halil Mutlu, 138 kilos in Antalya 2001, and that was in the World Championships in that year. But you sense there's real desire for revenge here. The Beijing champion wants to beat the London champion. Remember, he was 18 when he won in Beijing. He's 22 today. Om is just a year younger. Well, that makes it interesting now, because the snatch gold medal for himself and China, but stays on 130. That's only 3 kilos ahead, as you rightly said, of Om, and he's the world record holder. And in third place, you've got 6 kilos, 4 kilos off the other Vietnamese, Tran, after a poor start, actually in fourth place, only 5 kilos off. So really good second half in prospect. Well, this is the way they are at the halfway stage. So, still very much the gold, silver and bronze overall. You can see the first 4 there separated by 5 kilos, the first 5 by 8. So 15 minutes for the second half of this 56 kilo championship. 4 minutes to go before the beginning of the second half of this men's 56 kilo championship of the world. And a real second half in prospect. And just a reminder that after tonight's live competition here in Wroclaw, a chance for you to enjoy today's women's 53 kilo championship of the world, and it's worth staying up for. So take that in after we finish here on the men's 56 kilo competition. So just under 3 minutes now to the beginning of the second half. The Beijing and London Olympic champions separated by just 3 kilos, but which way will it go in the second half? Well, if you're just joining us, it's a fascinating situation at the halfway stage in this men's 56 kilo competition. Don't go away, Michaela Breeze and myself, we're pretty interested to see which way this goes. Long, the Beijing champion, having missed that third attempt in the snatch, how costly could that be, Michaela? Because that would have given him 5 kilos and body weight advantage over the world record holder in the clean and jerk, his London Olympic rival Om Yun Chol, who's posted 165, which is actually 8 kilos more for an opener than Long.
That's right. I think it's just going to be extremely close. really has a deficit of 4 kilos to make up. That's 3 kilos from the snatch and body weight, but he's got a much bigger clean and jerk, and I think we're going to be close to world record attempts here tonight, so watch this space.
Well, we start at a more modest level here with the Bulgarian Arsen Muradov down in 10th place at the halfway stage, having made only 1 out of 3 lifts and starting at 130. Well, I'd have been surprised if he didn't get that. That's 10 kilos less than he lifted on his way to the silver medal in the Europeans.
Yeah, but he's limping, David. We saw after the snatch he was struggling, so I don't know whether he's come in light just to secure the competition. You can see he's in a lot of discomfort there, really reluctant to drop into the deep receiving position, catching it high. Jerk, no problem though. Let's hope he's not too badly hurt for the next lift.
This is Ali Shonte. He's also going to open up on 130. And like the man who preceded him, again, 2 disappointments at 123 kilos in the snatch phase. It starts on 117. A few kilos better off than Muradov, but nonetheless, it's Muradov who's going to come out for his second attempt at 134 because Chonte's gone to 135.
Again, the change of weight means he's got less than a minute now. The clock is ticking and it's on 45 seconds.
Does mean your coaches have got to be on their toes.
There you can see the coaches panicking. The problem with that is quite often a panicking coach can have a negative effect on the lifter. You can see he's quite calm and collected, knows what he's got to do.
Half a minute. You have this routine and you really want to have the time to go through it and build for the lift in the right way, in the optimum amount of time. 10 seconds. Was he simply not strong enough, or was he simply not ready?
No, I don't think he's fully committed to that. Caught the bar with his chest very low. Very difficult to stand up in that position. It just pulls you onto your toes and bounces off. Just collapsed at the bottom.
It's an interesting change of rule and regulation, that, isn't it? It's a rule that can be used, it can even be abused. You could quite easily put your lifter up for a bigger weight and then withdraw, leaving your opponent to come in much less time than they originally anticipated.
So it's part of the tactics that the lifters and coaches will play. Put the starting weights down and then often increase them at the last minute. That hopefully then catches some of your opponents off guard. Maybe they haven't quite timed their warm-up correctly, or they have timed their warm-up correctly, but because you've increased your weights, it's thrown them out. There's a lot of cat and mouse that goes on behind the stage, a lot of changing of weights. That's why there's more than one coach.
Even if he gets this, it's going to give him 243, which would only put him into second place because Josu Brahikashia of Spain earlier in the day in the B group totaled up 246, 113 in the snatch, 133 in the clean and jerk. So he's the overall leader in the clubhouse at this moment, and this man, as I said, if he makes this, he will well, they've got 247 there. Indeed, he's in second place at the moment. 247 would take him 1 kilo into the lead. My apologies for the confusion.
It's better. The first lift, very solid overhead. Can he stand still though?
How bad's the leg?
Obviously not that bad.
Well, I wasn't going to say anything earlier, Michaela, but over the years, I've seen some good acting performances as well as some good lifting performances.
Funny how it hurts so much more when you miss a lift.
Ali Chonte, what that does show you, that little backflip there, is the explosive power.
Yeah, goodness me, the leg power needed to be a good lifter is phenomenal. These guys will have a vertical jump in excess of 70 centimetres.
So Chonte now, he's put the bar up by 5 kilos, so one can only assume that things have gone okay.
Wow, that's power clean. And a power jerk. Well, if you look at the length of his legs, probably deceptive to us on TV, but very, very short levers that enables him to execute those kind of lifts.
It is a lift though, or technique, which much less margin for error though.
Just less margin for error. But so you limit how far you can go. You can see that his knees are very heavily strapped. That might be a limiting factor. That might be the reason why he's unable to get into a squat position. But that will definitely hold you back. Well, Mirko Scarantino had to work hard for it.
That is 4 out of 4, 135 kilos. The 113 that he collected in the snatch race, puts him into second place overall on 248 kilos. But as we said in the first half of the competition, this is all stepping stones. This is education for him at the age of 18.
Oozing confidence, that's for sure.
And 248, just worth noting, that's a new personal best total. So well done to him for that. And of course 2 attempts remaining for him to go that bit further. Are going to 140 for Ali Chonte of Kazakhstan.
It looks like he's complaining of a bit of a quad tweak. It's going to be an issue obviously driving out of the clean. Massive amount of quads and glutes to be engaged. Stand up with those kind of weights. Well, let's just see how deep he goes now. Again, you see how heavily his knees are strapped. That in itself is going to limit how far down you can go.
Seconds.
Absolutely perfect levers for weightlifting. Again, a power clean. Power jerk has to be spot on. See with how wide his hands are as well, there's much less distance for the bar to travel.
A question that I often get asked, Michaela, is at the end of a competition like a World Championship, what's the wind-down process?
Well, most of these guys now will probably take a couple of days of training. That's probably it. After that, they'll be back in the gym. But the training will be a lot less intense, much higher volume, much lighter weights. Instead of being 80-90% plus of your best, they'll probably drop down to 50-60% to work on a bit of fitness and to allow the body time to recover. Some of these lifters might afford themselves a week off training. At the top end, it'll only be a few days, if that.
So 141 kilos on the bar, a 6 kilo increase. Good clean. Better than the first one.
No evidence of a quad pull on that attempt. Nice overhead. Much longer arms and legs. Really has to work to drive that bar to arm's length. This is a lifter absolutely losing confidence. Still with one attempt to go, and he's blowing his personal best out the window.
But in a way, we shouldn't be so surprised at the stage he is of his development. This is where you can make quite big moves and gains.
Absolutely, as these young men are starting to fill out, the natural increase in testosterone is going to have a massive effect.
Nicely balanced as well. So, into second place on 254. So that is now 7 kilos up on his Mediterranean Games performance, which is to date his best performance, but now the world's a new set of marks in his career as Ruiz Gasso comes on. 11 years his senior. That's 11 years more than Scarantino. And opening up here on 142. He brings forward 122 kilos. So 8 kilos behind the best at the halfway stage. And in 5th place after the snatch discipline. Representing Cuba.
Very quick, very strong.
Punches that well enough over his head, and that's a clear 3 white lights from the judges. You can see a 59, 55.55, just inside the 56 kilo limit.
Well, it's a very efficient lifting. No effort wasted, no time wasted. Well, a skillful lifter, maximum ease and efficiency.
It's interesting, in Beijing he was a 62 kilo lifter and finished in 6th place with a total of 294. But the last 2 or 3 years he's moved back down to this weight category.
You can see that from his body weight, 0.01 under the limit. He's obviously had to cut a few kilos. My guess is he's been a 62 lifter. His natural body weight is probably around 64, 65. So that's a tremendous amount of weight to cut. I've been there myself. It's not easy to lose that amount of weight.
Has the advantage, 264. So little by little we're getting towards the headliners, but we've got to surpass 150 kilos before any of those appear. So it'll be the turn of the Colombian Carlos Berna to come in. Berna 6th at the halfway stage. And the bar changing again, and Ali Chonte, I should say, coming out for, I think, 145 kilos, because Berna's gone up to 148. Well, this would put him in 1st place in the clean and jerk, 2nd overall, but still very much an outsider. His destiny will be in the hands of others, and those others would have to fail a great many lifts to let him into the medal hunt.
Well, very little room for error on a power jerk. It's got to be straight overhead.
Kazakhstan not exactly here with their first team, and indeed over the last day or so we're beginning to hear some stories about some unwelcome news from the Kazakhstan lifting department, and no names as yet, but the story is that we are going to hear some unwelcome news. And now we go to Scarantino, who is a breath of fresh air at the moment, and could he make it 6 out of 6? What a evening that would be for this man. 1:45.
Well, he's got the clean.
Sui talloni! Allunga bene!
Oh, so close.
Well, he wanted to test himself, and the coaches wanted to test him to see just what he could do. 5 out of 6. New personal best in the snatch phase, up from 108 to 113. New personal best in the clean and jerk, up from 139 to 141. And currently in the overall bronze medal position. So Ruiz Gasso Lazaro now for Cuba, 5 kilo increase. Currently in first place, so this is to enhance his position. But remember, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lifters who've yet to start their campaign.
Bien. Fuerte el empuje ahora, fuerte el empuje. Firme.
Well, that's pleasing.
Yeah, again, the efficiency that Ruiz comes out with there. He doesn't waste any effort.
He's clearly much happier in this phase. And 147, I'm just having a quick look back. I mean, in terms of this category, I mean, that is clearly a personal best. So he leads the competition with 269 kilos. Just putting things in perspective for a moment. Halil Mutlu, 305 kilos, the world record dating back to the Sydney Olympics of 2000. Yun Chol, 290 is proposed total. Long, 285. Thach, 282. Tran, the two Vietnamese boys separated, but just a kilo, 281.
Sin brazos, hombre. La cargada no salta atrás, sin brazos. Vamos, vamos. No salta atrás.
So, 150. The opening attempt of Carlos Berna. Now Berna 10 kilos behind the halfway leader, Long of China. But 3 good lifts in the first part of the competition. How's he going to deal with this, I wonder?
Derecho. Suene los codos. Frente.
He's not having that. Well, I think the music's appropriate.
Yeah. Reasonably demanding first attempt, 150 for him.
Yeah, the clean was, he had to work very hard. As you can see here, really working hard to stand up. Just lacking that leg drive. Needs to maybe split a bit wider, drop a bit lower to catch it at arm's length. Trying to do too much with your upper body there.
I don't think anybody else is going to want 150, so I think he's going to have to follow himself.
He's not going to enjoy that much. 2 minutes to recover.
And now you can see the warm-up room really thinning out the main players. There's Long. You can see by the weights on the bar there the stage he's got to in his warm-up. And just a reminder of where we are. Remembering, of course, that Tran and Fach and Long and Om have yet to make an appearance.
It was only about 120 he had on the bar. It's unusual to see the men using loads of 15-kilo discs. It's a bit like the kids in school trying to whack all the 10s on and make the bar look really heavy.
Well, 1:10. Are we going to see Long? Pity. Would have liked to have stayed with Long just to have seen him lift that.
It was 130, I think he had on the bar.
So Berner with 50 seconds to try again. Lifted this in the Olympics on his way to an 8th place finish. But he has been as good as 152 in the Worlds before now. That was back in 2010 in Antalya. This is the man who uses most of the time. He's coming down now to 20 seconds, but the last time that he attempted this, the clock was at 7 seconds when he moved the bar. 13, 12, now 10, 7, 6.
It's a harder clean again. He needs to really drive this now. It's not happening. Well, it's an awful lot of energy wasted. 2 failures. He's done the hard work. In terms of the time, David, there's a clock just in front of him, slightly to the right, so he will know exactly how long he has. Although he probably wants another 30 seconds. He knows how long he's got. That's the man under pressure.
When those clocks tick down and you can put yourself into the zone ready for the lift, but sometimes you can put yourself away, you suddenly lose it completely.
Well, you'd hope this is something they train. I do this often with my athletes. Sometimes I'll shout their name across the gym, say 10, and they know that means they've got 10 seconds to get the bar shifting. And really it's practicing so that if this situation does happen in competition, it's not an issue.
Yeah, Ruiz in the lead at the moment. But there you can see the situation there. There's still 4 men yet to start, so this competition's got some way to go. It's going to be all changed. This is a pity though, you know, because he was 6th at halfway and he was trying to make up the best part of 10 kilos, and now this is all about staying alive, getting a total for the Colombian. So I'm glad to hear the audience just rising. Ukrainians to my left there cheering on. Everybody in front of us, I think, comes from the South American contingent, so willing Carlos Berner to get this one. He's got 40 seconds. He's got a little bit more time he's at his disposal.
You can hear shouts of "Vamos, vamos." Come on, come on.
Down to 20 seconds. Ten, 6. Okay, now come on. This is something he can do. I thought for a fraction of a second there, Michele, he was going to get it.
Oh, the clean was much better. He looked more positive. He looked better recovered. It's a real shame.
So he loses the opportunity to record a total, and he's stuck on 120 kilos from the snatch base. So that's really disappointing. It's bad enough when you got a short flight, but when you got a long flight back from Poland to Colombia without a result, horrible. So, with no disrespect to all who've gone before, now it gets serious. Thach Kim Thuan, the younger of the two Vietnamese, coming out on 152. add to the 126 that he collected in the first half of the competition. He was the bronze medalist, but he only got 1 out of 3 lifts in that first phase.
And he has so far to move that bar, but he's compensated by adjusting his hands for the jerk.
So a new mark in the clean and jerk and a new leader in the total. So that 278 now is running total.
Great leg and hip extension. Really extends.
So the bar on 153, a kilo heavier than the weight lifted by his teammate a few moments ago. This is Tran Le Quoc for Vietnam. 125 kilos he brings forward, which is just a kilo less than his teammate. So 153, a kilo more. This to put him in the lead in the clean and jerk. But he'd only be second overall because he's heavier than his teammate.
And he's had to work a lot harder on the clean as well.
Oh, lucky boy.
That was a very, very short drive, but compensated by splitting low and long to get under it.
Low and long, absolutely right.
Wow, that was,
That could have so easily gone south.
he needs to drive through the starting position. Watch his hands now, you can see it, just walking his hands out to get an advantage for the jerk. The drive was just so short.
I'd also worry you that the clean looked quite hard and heavy, so...
Yeah, I'm not sure how much further he's got to go today.
So this is a 6 kilo increase. To put the Cuban into second place in the clean and jerk rankings, but also to keep in the hunt for an overall medal. He's in third now. He would stay in third place at the moment, but quite a few lifts to come. And 2 men, 2 Olympic champions yet to start.
He's got to stay on the platform and stand still. And he's done it.
I'll tell you what, his hips went behind and then he managed to almost duck walk underneath the bar. I mean, not many can do that. This will be interesting to have a look at.
Do not want to be messing around with that kind of weight overhead.
Have a look at this.
Great extension on the clean. Had to work super hard to stand up. You can see the tension in his legs.
And those hips,
Staggering forwards to get underneath.
well fought.
Brilliant attempt. That's a go.
Well, that was worth a real pat on the back. He's 275, he's in third place. At the moment, Tran Le Quoc of Vietnam, second on 278. And his teammate, Thach Kim Tuan, in first place, 278 also, but lighter than his teammate. And still 2 men to start. Now, this is coming out now on 155.
And on, we just saw in the warm-up room, he only had 110 on the bar, so he's obviously biding his time, trying to time his warm-up to perfection.
Well, he needs a bit of time from these lifters because 165 is where he's going to start. So, coming up to 15 seconds. Is he clear in his mind? Not bad.
Great recovery. 1:55 second attempt for Thach. He's executing as best he can.
Just a kilo short of his personal best, but no matter. So, keeping himself in the lead in the clean and jerk, and the total, with a total of 281 now. This is interesting for the Vietnamese, isn't it? With two boys virtually together. And Long, 157, that's what he proposed for his opening attempt, and that's what he's going to come out for. We still don't know the tactic here. The paper says that should actually surpass.
Did you just see what I just saw? Just Long shooting across the warm-up room. Obviously has been caught off guard there, not ready.
Were they thinking what I was suggesting earlier, that Long was kidding a bit and was going to put the bar up? Well,
Don't know, Long was the one that wasn't prepared then.
well, this is 30 seconds. A slightly anxious frown.
Well, that's a lifter that's not quite ready. Oh dear.
So that is 16 kilos underneath the weight that he lifted in the national games.
Well, I think this is more of a technical issue, apart from the fact he may be fatigued, having maybe just done a lift in the warm-up room and then run across the warm-up room. When he caught that in the bottom position, he was on his toes, which is why he fell forwards. He never really tried to stand up with it. Let's hope he can correct it.
So Tran now going to 157. He's in this position versus his teammate here, where he's always playing catch up.
See the marks on his neck, that's where he's caught the bar quite high in the warm-up room, and the knurling in the middle of the bar has ripped his neck. It's going to be sore.
This is the 4 kilo increase he needs, because he's heavier than his teammate. And he can't go into first place, so he's going to have to try that again.
Well, I reckon Orman's sat in the warm-up room thinking, what is going on? There's only, 2, 4, 5 attempts before we're due to see Om.
Yeah, I mean, interesting what they decide with Long. Do they... Well, they're bringing him out on 157.
Well, he can't bring the bar down, and I certainly wouldn't put him up after that first attempt. It's a rising bar. Once the bar is loaded, that's it. No going back. He looks nervous, he looks anxious.
Olympic champion, world champion in his time, national games champion this year.
He's only 22. Oh, that's better. Ooh. Can he stand still? That shoulder movement, not elbow movement. He should be okay.
Yeah.
And he is. Oh, you can see how much that took out of him. He does not look comfortable in this second half of the competition.
So the 130 plus the 157 into the clear lead in both the clean and jerk and the total on 287. Thach of Vietnam in silver, Tran in bronze at the moment. Ruiz Gasso from Cuba off the podium. Thach now. 3 men with third attempts and Om yet to start. And he's only got 3 kilos to make up, and that he must have been relieved to see Long miss that first attempt. because it's made life so much easier for him. I mean, he can come down from 165 now.
Yeah, he can.
He doesn't have to be.
He'll wait and see what he needs. A sensible lifter would take only what they need.
Yeah, he doesn't have to be that adventurous, that fach.
Oh, that's great lifting by Thak.
Yeah, all through this sequence he's fought hard and he's always wanted it, and he gets the reward there. So that 157 is a 2 kilo increase, and that's going to take him up to 283, solidify his position at the moment in the silver medal position. But the fascination is going to be his teammate Tran, who has his last attempt to come and defeat his younger teammate.
Well, I think the only Vietnam are going to get a medal.
So the bar goes to 159 for Tran. Now, remember, Tran missed 157, so this is a 6 kilo increase, which is going to take him to 284 if he's good enough. So effectively, this is to put him in the silver medal position, but actually, probably for the bronze ultimately. So which Vietnamese lifter is going to be on the podium? It's going to be the younger one, Thach Kim Tuan, who in second place now can really only be pushed down by Om. So really, in a funny sort of way, it's gone to form. The silver medalist from the Asian Games, that's Thach, who totaled up 281 in the Asian Championships. Tran totaled 275, so it's gone absolutely to form from the Asian Championships this year as far as those two are concerned. And Om has brought the bar down from 165 to 162.
Just asking for the crowd to be quiet. There are a lot of supporters from the People's Republic of Korea.
Flags waving. 30 seconds. He didn't hang about, did he?
No, he didn't. That didn't look overly comfortable though. But it's brought him into the competition.
Put him in the lead.
We're going to see Long now attempting to at least try and take the gold medal on the clean and jerk.
So, on with 289, he's 2 kilos ahead. He is heavier though, so Om sitting on 287. But it's interesting that on the computer it shows that Long has put the bar, or is proposing to put the bar to 163, which is a 6 kilo increase. Now remember, this is a weight that he's lifted it last month. So 163.
The bottom line is here, David, in the clean and jerk, that Om will need to outlift Long by 4 kilos to take the overall gold medal.
So a 6 kilo increase to take him to 293.
Oh, you just see his whole body shaking after the clean.
And the first Chinese setback at these championships. He was already secure in second place, so there was absolutely nothing wrong that he did. Well, he did nothing wrong, I should say. But 287, the gold medal is won by the London Olympic champion, beats the Beijing Olympic champion.
Attempting a new record. He's going for the 170, David. Oliver's going for 170 clean and jerks to attempt a new world clean and jerk record.
And he's got 2 goes at it if he wants. This is an 8 kilo increase. It would improve the world record by a kilo.
This is going to be a big ask. His first attempt was good. Has he got the legs for this?
Well, he set the world record in Pyongyang. This is different, but his supporters are all on their feet. There must be, a good 50 of them, Michaela. So, he's won the gold. He's got the title. Can he finish it with a world record, the icing on the cake? Awkward stand. No. Oof.
Oh, his elbow. Is he on that elbow?
Yeah, it is an elbow.
That's not good to see.
And immediate silence and...
Okay, so you've got the guys standing in front. They're just there to protect him.
The doctor
That's never nice to see. You can
on
see the
stage,
acting in here.
and it's not the way we would ever want it to end. It's the Turkish doctor, Dr. Dojan, who's looking after him there.
Yeah, that elbow's out. Somebody find him a chair.
I mean, it is horrible. He's in a tremendous amount of pain, as you can see. The amazing thing, Michaela, is that this is absolutely horrible, but you've seen this many a time. I've seen come back from this. Zlatan Vanev was one of the people I can remember coming back from the most awful dislocation.
That's not, I mean, that dislocation is, it's not a bad dislocation.
No.
I don't really want to see the replay though.
No.
Oh, sorry David, my stomach's about to go.
Proszę bardzo, przygotowanie młodych dla zwycięzców. In second place, drugie miejsce, China.
It's really, no consolation for us to see that happen when he's won the competition.
Yeah, very disappointing. I mean, we forget, he's world senior champion. I reckon right about now he's feeling fairly faint. They've got to just manipulate that now to put it back in.
It's that awful sick feeling that you get.
No, I don't. That's not a nice way to finish the evening. And for those watching out there, very disappointing. But that's one of the strains the body's under when doing this. You can see the position that his hands are in. That's the risk the lifters take when they move their hands out that bit wider on the clean. Yes, it helps because there's not so far to move the bar overhead, but you do put the elbows under excessive strain.
But there are the results on the clean and jerk. He's won the gold in that, and also the overall results still to come. And those are only the results of the clean and jerk. Total results will follow. I can tell you though that Om Yun Choi with 289 has won the title. The gold to the People's Republic of Korea, the silver to China, and again, this is the lift that won him the gold medal, which is a happier picture.
Yeah, gutted for him there. You asked the question earlier, David, how do athletes wind down after World Champs? Well, I think he's probably got about 3 months now of rehab. He'll be back.
Yeah, it's no consolation whenever it happens. The only thing you can say is that it's the beginning of the Olympic cycle, so he's got time on his side to recover, to look forward to defending his title. There you have the results for the total. Om Yun Choi taking it with 289 by 2 kilos from Long, the Beijing champion, and Thak winning the contest between the two Vietnamese lifters with 283. And that 283, a personal best for him, so happy memories. And then down in 5th place there, Ruiz Caso Lazaro, much more confident on the clean and jerk phase, and that's a respectable finish